Good day, I'm junior researcher Adam Southgate, working as the Order of Merlin's sole instructional video producer. Firstly, I'd like to ask that all hunters of the horrors of the spheres please subscribe as to not miss future lectures and announcements. I would also appreciate, no matter which nation's anti-incursion team you may belong to, any stories of horrific entities you may have faced personally written in the comment area of this video. Secondly, I'm very happy to announce the feeding of Thraig Goch took place this year without any incidents, unlike last year. To the 30 hunters who volunteered their time, I'd like to offer a personal thank you. To the 200 odd who sat outside the mountain drinking themselves into oblivion, all I can really say is that you were there. Finally, a specialist contract has come in and will require a 10-man team. A dead ship was docked at Cardiff Bay by the name of the King Llewellyn and is only corporeal and visible from 3:48 AM to 4:48 AM. We need the team to board the ship within the time window and figure out how exactly it originally sank. This should hopefully allow the ship to return to a benign state. However, to complicate the task, it seems the crew has also been mimicked by spirits and are now taking on the forms of wraiths. Wraiths are extremely aggressive at the slightest perceived insult, and it can be very difficult to know what specifically they find insulting. Thankfully, in this case, as all are mimicking sailors, we can assume that as long as you maintain proper aboard ship etiquette, you shouldn't draw the Wraith's wrath. Also, the Wraiths themselves appear to be bound to the ship, so once that is gone, they should be on their way out with it. If this contract is of interest to you, and preferably you have some knowledge of shipboard protocol, please report to your local order office for sign-up and further details. So, today's lecture will be on the entropic sphere's parasitic consciousnesses. To begin with, like the wraith and ghost, a parasitic consciousness is a metamorphosed form of a spirit. As I'm sure you're aware, however, it is worth repeating, a spirit is the baseline organism of the entropic sphere. We are literally surrounded by them, though luckily they are completely benign, mindless entities without the ability to interact with our corporeal world. The issues begin when certain, mostly unknown parameters are met. For example, the ghost is formed when a spirit is close to a violent, emotionally turbulent death. For a parasitic consciousness, we are sadly very much in the dark when it comes to how they initially form from a spirit. Unlike the ghost or wraith, today's subject has no form and is closer to the vampire in that instead it inhabits a living human body. However, where the vampire changes its host but allows it to remain in control, the parasitic consciousness removes the host's mind, replacing it with its own. Those who have been inhabited will show no obvious anomalous symptoms, and somewhat more distressingly will fully believe that they are the original consciousness, with all the memories and emotions to go along with the near-perfect masquerade. The original mind will have been silently disposed of in a quiet instant, usually within the dead of night. The hunting strategy of the parasitic consciousness is rather well adapted, as they will only strike when their chosen victim's mind is least defended. This is always at either the point just before true sleep or just after the victim has left true sleep. At either one of these points, the parasitic consciousness will attempt to quickly shunt the host consciousness out of the body, leaving it to slowly fade away with no means of reclaiming its rightful physical form. Somewhat surprisingly, we do have a natural defense against these body snatchers. Due to the extremely long period of time that we have been suffering incursions from the entropic sphere, we have, at some point, evolved a natural defense against them, though it is by no means perfect. Both hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucinations serve as our shield against these potential interlopers. Both terms, the first describing as you fall asleep, the second describing as you wake, refer to a strange phenomena where part of the mind is dreaming while the rest is awake, causing hallucinations. For example, you just awake, still lying in bed, You look around the room and see a large creature sat in your room. As adrenaline kicks in, you suddenly realise that what was a threat a moment ago is now just a set of drawers with a lamp on top. I'm sure many of you have experienced something similar, though maybe you saw a monster or an unknown man. Possibly you didn't see anything at all, but rather heard a very loud sound right next to your ear. The fear your mind conjured up in those moments, while misdirected, was still very much appropriate. These sudden shocks out of torpor were your mind's way of shielding you, of raising the alarm, so to speak, allowing you to quickly throw up your mental walls that usually shield you. In these cases, you came under attack by a parasitic consciousness, and you were lucky enough to have your subconscious save you in that moment. Sadly, if a person has come under attack too regularly, or due to a substance like alcohol being in their system, the adrenaline response will not activate with the same potency. Due to this, the mental walls will not be raised, the luckless individual will be shunted from their own body, left to wither away to nothingness. The following is an interview with one such parasitic consciousness, though it prefers to be referred to as George. George being the name of its young victim and the person the entity wholeheartedly believes it is. The parasitic consciousness, now known as George, sits within an isolation chamber. Along with him is a single bed, an armchair, a television currently disconnected for the interview, a set of shelves all filled with different books of fantasy fiction, and a makeshift bathroom area complete with toilet, shower, and sink. Interview starts 9:26 p.m. I apologize for the late interview. I've had my plate full of late.
It's fine. It's nice to have someone to talk to.
Well, I'm glad I'm not imposing. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions that I have here. I want you to answer them honestly. Don't just give the answers you think I want. Okay? How long has it been since you took the body of George Emmett?
Well, from what you told me, it's been 2 years.
George, I want you to answer with what you believe, not what you've been told.
Okay. I am George Emmett. I always have been.
Good job. Now, how often did you see things as you woke up?
I'm not sure. It was a long time, though. It got to be every time, but I don't see them anymore.
Sticking with the hallucinations, was there ever a theme or similarity between them?
Not really. There were men, monsters, and large dogs. My mum started calling it my alarm clock, because it would always wake me up really quickly.
And can you describe for me the last time it happened to you?
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't have remembered if it wasn't the last time it happened. Like normal, I was slowly waking up, still lying in bed. I started looking around the room, because I knew something was going to be there. It was a dog, but like one of those big ones the police have, but it was just sitting there, looking at me. Mum always said they weren't real, and this time I just looked at it. All of a sudden, it just went back to being my desk chair with my jacket on it.
Did you feel any differently after this event?
No, not really. It was nice to be able to lie in, though.
Do you know what this device is?
It's why you don't think I'm really George.
And you know what happens to you when it's struck, correct?
It hurts.
But you know what happens to you.
I saw the video, but to me, everything just goes blurry.
Yes, but in the video and to everyone else around you, they see a shimmer being pulled halfway out of George's body. That shimmer is you.
It doesn't feel like me. I feel like me.
It's okay. You did very well today. George, I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm sorry that,
It's okay. We'll talk again soon. Interview ends 9:30 p.m. Thankfully, when it comes to parasitic consciousnesses, we do have a means of detection, although sadly, this only works after infection. A certain held sound frequency seems to temporarily weaken the bond between parasite and host, though not completely severing them. The held note in question is rather rare in day-to-day life, so it's been estimated that 92% of these entities that are living as human beings are completely undetected. The issue becomes, what do you do with these people after they've been exposed? We cannot allow them to walk free as we don't truly know what they're capable of. Like the cuckoo fairy, who seems perfectly innocent until they reach maturity, and then they begin eating human babies. Currently, our only option is containment, as killing the host body will just allow the parasitic consciousness to begin searching for a new host once again. One method has been put forward that does hold some promise, which is the annual feeding of thrai goch. Thrai goch has been shown to be able to devour even the impossible and intangible, such as the screams of a dying man. If he is able to consume the parasitic consciousness along with the host body, he may prove our best solution in the future. Though obviously the Order does take this threat very seriously, we aren't actively seeking out those who have been parasitized. The main reason for this being that if all organizations across the globe did, we'd have enough people to fill every prison on Earth. The fact is, you probably know someone who is a parasitic consciousness, or you yourself may be one. Most organizations take a best not pick at it approach to this topic, as until we have a way of permanently dealing with the issue, there really isn't much that can be done. But that will do it for today. It's probably best not to think about this one too much. With Arthur's might and Merlin's wisdom, thank you.